So welcome, Roger Anthony.
Thank you, Trish. Thank you for having
It's
me.
an honor to have you
My
on Ride to Independence.
my pleasure, and thank you so much for the honor of having me.
Of course, of course. Oh my goodness. So Roger, tell me, how old are you?
Oh my god, are you ready for this? Uh, Saturday, I will be 84.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. That's fantastic. But how old do you feel
That
is my next question.
that depends on the day.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
that a fair answer? No, I tell you what, I don't feel my age, and I don't think about my age. I mean, the only way I think about my age is that, okay, it's a number, and I'm very blessed. I know I'm very blessed. I'm in good health, and I'm functional, and that's the most important thing. People who get hung up on a number, they're really losing a lot in life.
That is very true. On my last episode, I interviewed Fran Davis, my client, who happens to be 102 years old.
Wow,
And she mentioned that, she was just blessed with good genes, but she also exercised every single day.
absolutely.
So I think that made a very big difference for her and staying so active. So tell me, what's your secret sauce? I mean, for staying so fit besides eating kale and just being damn stubborn.
Well, first of all, I don't eat kale.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay. Do you eat vegetables?
Of course I do. No, I haven't.
Okay.
I do have a good, healthy diet, and that's very much a part of it. And of course,
Okay.
exercise. It's indisputable that exercise plays a big role. And yes, genes too. Yeah, some of us are born with an advantage, and I think I was. I'm blessed. I've been blessed with very, very good health. Okay, every now and then it gets a little rocky, but doesn't it for everybody at every age?
Right.
But,
Right. Right.
really no wonderful secret sauce. It's just good, healthy and you know what? Another thing that plays a major role is having a good social network. That's extremely
Yeah.
important. Really.
Yeah, yeah. Have you been healthy your whole life though? Did you ever have run into some type of factor that caused you to say to yourself, "Oh, I got to get myself healthy now."
That's a good question, and I think for the most part, I have been a pretty healthy individual for all of my life. So,
Okay.
no, I really haven't run into issues, but I mean, I wasn't always into fitness. You know, bear in mind my age. I'm 84 years old. Back in the day, as people say, it was not what it is today. Fitness awareness was not a thing. My parents and many of my own contemporaries did not really focus on fitness. And first of all, the whole health club phenomenon, fitness facilities, really, as you know, only took root about 25 or 30 years ago. It wasn't a thing in this country. And in fact, people, funnily enough, over the age of 40 profiled themselves and said, well, I can't do this or I can't do that. I'm too old for this and I'm too old for that. And that was the mindset. So the answer to your question is no. I was not always into fitness. Yes, I was always lucky to be fit.
Well, you worked for the pharmaceutical industry for over 30
Yep.
years. So while you were working in the pharmaceutical industry, you were traveling a lot to Europe.
Yes.
That must have been very difficult on your body, on your lifestyle, because as you know, traveling causes a lot of ailments, right? Because you're breathing in the air in the airlines. You're not eating on a scheduled you're going out for dinners. You're having a lot of processed foods. How did you maintain your fitness while you were traveling and working
It was
so much?
it was definitely a challenge.
Okay.
People romanticize about business travel and think that, oh my God, isn't it wonderful? Here's a guy that's in Paris one week, in Rome the next. Yeah, well, that's all wonderful, but you're not a tourist when you're traveling, and you're spot on. Your eating habits, your sleeping habits are disrupted.
That's right.
You're working more than you really should. But to answer your question, one of the ways I stayed fit was walking. I mean, when I was in Europe, you know what happens in Europe. People walk.
Oh,
They walk.
you walk.
Absolutely.
Exactly, exactly.
And I did that. I walked as much as I possibly could every day. And of course, what a pleasure to be walking through beautiful cities in Europe.
Very true. Now, did you used to take your wife? Because I know you and your wife had traveled over 70
Yes.
countries.
Uh,
Did you ever take your wife when you had to do business in Europe?
Occasionally, not
Okay.
often. Every now and then, if I was going on a, prolonged trip, I'd tell her, "Come on along," and then I'd maybe try to weasel in a week or so, and we
Right.
would travel a bit, yeah. But most of the travel that Pauline and I have done, we have done on our own independent travel.
Okay, great. Okay. Now, is she also as fit as you?
You know what? She's pretty fit.
Okay.
She's pretty fit. She goes to the gym.
But she's not teaching classes like you
No,
are.
not an instructor, but she's a very active woman, and she's in the same age range as I am. Women don't tell their
Right.
age, of course, but she keeps active. She goes to the gym very frequently. She loves water aerobics, which, of course, is age appropriate, and
And the very best thing for seniors to be doing if they have any type of joint issues or they're recovering from knee surgery, hip surgery, getting in the water is a wonderful thing for them to be doing. If they can find a gym that has the pool.
yeah, absolutely. Well, we're blessed because we live not too far from a club that does have a big, pool, and so she enjoys that, and she's also into most recently, she's into Tai Chi, and even if she doesn't
Oh,
go to the gym to do Tai Chi, which
right.
she does it at home with videos. There's wonderful videos on YouTube, you know?
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And
Now,
I
Roger, you worked for the pharmaceutical company for over 30 years. What do you think is your responsibility with what's happened with the opioid addiction, with, I believe keeping seniors and adults satiated with medication as opposed to having a lifestyle that takes work, exercising, eating well, walking, being social active, doing strength training. I mean, all these things are important, but they're hard. Not everybody wants to do these things.
exactly.
So they rather take the medication. Your opinion on that?
Well, first of all, let me predicate this by saying that I worked for a major pharmaceutical company. We were not into opioids. However, you asked my opinion on it. I think that there was a lot of, let's call it marketing abuse with the opioids. It was over the top. The manufacturers who were putting them out were really pushing them, and some of the advertising was not appropriate, and I don't think it was even true. It exploded, and what happened afterwards, you well know. The major companies
Yeah.
who
Oh,
were involved in huge lawsuits. They
yes.
they were hit with liability suits because of the addiction. So,
Yes.
my
Yes.
feeling on it, yeah, there was abuse. Opioids, I they have a role when you have
Yes.
severe pain. I'm talking you've just had surgery, but they were being, as you probably know, they were being given out like aspirin. They
Right.
really were,
Exactly.
and people were becoming addicted to them without realizing what was happening to them.
Right.
I have issues with the pharmaceutical company. Yes, I had a big career, a wonderful career in it, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of all this pharmaceutical advertising that we're seeing today. We turn on the TV and we got people dancing around telling us that you need to buy this injection because it's going to make you slim and you're gonna be able to dance better. Now, this is nonsense. I have
Right.
real issues with that. I believe that it's good to keep the public aware of what pharmaceutical products are out there and what they can do, but to glamorize them the way they are being glamorized, and to the
Mm.
point where people, go into the doctors and say, "You know what? I wanna try this product."
right.
In my opinion, that's very, very well.
Well, a lot of also, I have to say that there's so many people not taking responsibility for their health. They rather take a medication. As you know, there's a big explosion right now with what is it, Megovy?
Wegovy,
What are those?
Wegovy and Ozempic.
And Ozempic, exactly. Because again, that is a medication. That is a way for people to lose weight. It's just easier to take it than do the work. Now, I have to say there are people who cannot exercise, have tried, they have a metabolic disorder that can't allow them to possibly lose the weight. That I understand. There is a percentage of people doing that. But there's a large percentage of people who just do not want to put the work. And I have to say that that could probably start with them not learning how to do it because they weren't raised in an environment and in a lifestyle that taught them how to live a healthy life.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. I've worked with several obese, clients, whose objective was to lose weight, and I found that without exception, they really had bad eating habits, and they really didn't know about nutrition, and had to sit down with them and explain how it is, and it still is, calorie in versus calories out. It's about choices, and it's about moving so you burn calories. Sounds very
Right.
simple, but you're right, it's not. It's a hell of a challenge for these people. It's a lifestyle change, and it's very difficult to impress upon people that it's not going to be comfortable. You taking a drug, if you do that, you're gonna lose weight, but you're on it for the rest of your life, and don't think it doesn't come with a package of side effects that you're not
Well,
going
that
to like.
right. Well, that's the thing with the Ozempic. You know, people have asked me, see, even some seniors in their early seniors, I'm talking about, late 50s, 60s, they'll ask me and I'll say, it's a great thing that we have that medication, and I would love for you to go ahead and explore that. But what happens when you get to your weight?
That's it.
You're gonna have to get off of it,
And you
and you're going to have to maintain that weight.
exactly.
And that's where it becomes the hard thing to do.
Exactly.
Maintenance, as you know, being a physical trainer, me being a physical trainer, maintenance is harder than bringing the weight off because it's just a hard thing to do, maintaining your weight, and it's a whole lifestyle thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Ozempic and the Wegovy and that class of drugs are fine. They do get you to lose weight, but as you said, once you've reached your target weight, if you go off of the products, that you're going to rebound like crazy. Now, when I worked with people who had obesity issues, one of the things I did without exception was to tell them about the Weight Watchers program. I'm not doing an ad for Weight Watchers, but I'm gonna tell you this. It's a very
Okay.
sound, healthy diet.
Right, right.
That's why
Yes,
I would tell them, "Go in, you will learn about nutrition. You will
right,
learn about portion control. You will learn what to do to assuage your hunger, and you will also learn the importance of exercise," because they lean on that. So that was my MO when I dealt with
right.
these people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a very difficult thing to try to teach, being in the senior business as I am, and well, you're not in the senior business. You teach everyone because you do spinning classes. You do what else do you teach, Roger?
And right now, I'm down to I teach, spinning, and I also teach flexibility. I have,
Flexibility.
I have a
Okay.
stretch class that I do a couple times a week, and I really enjoy that one because that one is so important for people to maintain their functionality, the range of motion, and so on, and balance is involved in that. I mean, so many people, when they do go to the club, they focus on strength, especially the guys, terrible. It's all
Yeah.
strength or it's cardio, they get on the treadmill until they're
Right. Right.
sweating,
Right. Right.
but they completely forget about balance and flexibility, and
Mobility. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
absolutely, and I
What exercises do you feel that seniors should be doing for mobility, balance, for strength, even if they're just getting started now? what is the first thing that you would recommend they do when they get out of bed?
Okay. First thing that people should do when they get out of bed, in my estimation, is plan what they're going to do for the day, Trish. I see so many men at the gym that, I'll talk to them and I'll overhear them. Well, I'm not sure I want to retire because if I retire, I wouldn't know what to do with my time. And you know what I tell them? If you, in fact, don't know what you would do with your time when you retire, keep working. Because when you
Keep
get up in the morning, your first thought should not be, "What am I gonna do today?" Your first
right,
thought should be, "How in the hell am I gonna do all the stuff I wanna do today?" So you need to plan that day, and that day has to involve everything: your workouts, your nutrition, your social interaction, your me time, your downtime, everything. It's a whole thing, and you need to plan for more than you can do. And they have to be things you want to do, things that you're excited about. If you hate going to the gym and pumping iron, you better find another way to do resistance training. Do
right,
something you like.
right,
If you don't
right,
like cardio
right.
classes and spinning, fine. Just turn on some music and dance your butt off. Have a good
Exactly. There's Zumba that they can do swimming,
exactly.
and a lot of advice that I give to my seniors is, why don't you just walk around the block?
Absolutely.
Start with 5 minutes, work your way up to 10 minutes and 15 minutes. You'll find it very enjoyable. At the same time, you're getting some vitamin D.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, but what exercise would you be able to give to the people who are listening right now for mobility, for strength, and for balance? What particular exercise? Are you talking the what is that called? Is it the falcon? Standing on standing on one leg, at least trying that for what, 20 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing to do. I don't have a definitive answer for that, Trish, because as you well know, uh, exercise needs are dependent upon the person. Everybody is different. And, I don't wanna sit here and say, "Well, this is the exercise that everyone should do."
True, yes.
You're a trainer. You need to get
Yes,
into their head. You have to understand, well, what is it? What's lacking? What do they need? And that's why it's so important for elderly people who have not exercised to start with a personal trainer. Start with someone who can do functionality tests and
right,
strength tests, and then suggest what they can do safely.
right.
Safely. And, I mean, I remember the first time I went to a health club, a long time ago, and we won't even discuss how many years ago, and I had a personal trainer, a young guy full of energy. He worked my butt so hard, Trish, that I had 1 week of delayed onset muscle soreness.
Oh, I get that delay now
Yeah.
too.
But how do you think that makes a person feel? You go to the gym
Yeah,
all fired up, and then
right,
for a week, you can barely get
right,
out of a chair. That's why you need a
right.
personal trainer who knows what they're doing. Absolutely.
A personal trainer that knows functionality, I mean, they have to know how to do the function tests. And of
Yes,
course, one of the function tests out there, people, if you don't know what a functional test is, they're gonna see if you can squat. If you can sit down and get up, how efficiently can you do that? I mean,
exactly.
that's a very simple test to find out what their functionality is, and there's other simple tests, that they will try and see how you are, and then they will guide you and do a exercise plan for you, and they will start you off very slowly, and when I mean slowly, I don't mean a full 45-minute workout. They might start with maybe 15 minutes just to try to build you up.
Exactly.
And not going once a week either. You gotta at least make a commitment to at least 3 times a week,
Ab
and then the other days, try to walk.
abs
But it's always about movement.
That's the bottom line. You're right. It's all about movement. It is. Unfortunately, a lot of people, as they age, movement becomes a challenge. And it's that catch 22. I'm not feeling well today, so I don't feel like moving. No, you've gotta move so you will be
Right,
able to move.
right,
You know,
right,
I always tell everybody in my spin class, when we're spinning, we don't burn energy when we do spinning. What we burn is calories. We build
Yeah,
energy, and that's the same with resistance training. You don't
yeah.
exhaust yourself, you strengthen yourself, and people have to get that mindset.
Very true, very true. And since you're talking about calories, what is one bad food that, that you would love to eat on a regular basis, but you know you just cannot?
Then you're talking to an Italian.
That's true, yes,
You know,
yes.
it's pasta,
I would love to have pasta every single day. I
right?
really would.
Exactly.
I really would love to have pasta every single day, but I cannot.
Exactly. No, I mean, and, yes, there are things that I really enjoy that I know are bad for me, and, I do moderate that kind of thing, but I don't believe in deprivation. I don't believe in cutting out everything completely because it's never going to work, you
No,
know? If you like ice cream, for God's sake, don't have it every day, make it a weekly treat, and don't eat a gallon,
exactly.
just have enough to
Yeah, yeah.
satisfy you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why
Eat well the whole week, and then on weekends, have your ice cream. It's fine. Have your ice cream, have your piece of cake, go out and have dessert. Absolutely, I agree. I do the same thing. I will sometimes when we go on vacation, my children will look at me and they'll say, "Oh my god, mom's eating? Hey, I'm on vacation, okay?
I love it. And
I'm on vacation. I'm gonna eat."
no,
I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna have my treats, I'm gonna drink, okay? Just
well, that's yeah,
let mommy have a good time.
that's one of the reasons I said earlier that I like the Weight Watchers diet, because I'm sure you know, on the Weight Watchers diet, you may eat whatever you want. What happens is you realize that quantity control is the important thing, and you realize
Yes.
the caloric value is variable. So it helps you to make those choices without depriving you of that wonderful piece of pizza every now and then, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now, Roger, did you and your wife have children?
No, no, we are child free. So we
Okay,
got lots of
okay,
nieces and nephews and, we keep busy.
okay, okay, that's great. No, because, I mean, you and your wife travel so much, I can't get over you telling me that you did over 70
Yeah,
countries.
yeah.
In your lifespan, and, I guess you're all traveled out, unless you and your wife are planning on you're still planning on traveling
Oh,
around?
yeah.
What do you have planned for this year or next year?
Well, we're hoping to go later this year. We're hoping to go to Malaysia. We've never been to Singapore. Like to do Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Bali, that section of the world. So we both like exotic, and of course,
Wow.
both.
I would love to go to Singapore.
Yeah, they say it's wonderful. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's a modern city, and we've been to Dubai, and we've been to Abu Dhabi, and we've seen that type of thing, Shanghai. But this, I think, will be really interesting. And
Oh, very nice.
we're both multilingual. I speak French, Italian, and English. Pauline speaks French, English, and Arabic. So that really
Oh, wow.
opens up our horizon.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's another thing that I wanna talk to you about. So much research has mentioned and said that, you really should start up a new hobby after 60. Learn an instrument, do something different to expand and grow, brain cells, because we can get very complacent in our homes and not wanna, you know, just watch the television, and not really try to push ourselves to work on our brain, and that's very important to be doing.
absolutely. No, I'm a big believer in that. You have to go down roads that you haven't traveled before. And there's so many things out there. My God, how hard would it be to find something of interest that you've never done before? And it can be anything. It can be a new sport. It can be a new game. It can be a field of study. It can be a language.
Yeah,
It can be
yeah,
travel. It can be
yeah,
discovering places around you
yeah.
that you've never been. It can be a hobby, a craft. Yes, you gotta keep this thing going. It's not just the body, It's
Right,
cognition.
right.
It's cog
Well, women can be learning how to knit. Women can learn how to knit, sew, those are 2 things. An instrument, if you always wanted to play piano, you can learn piano or guitar. And if you wanted to learn a language, absolutely. I mean, there's so many things out there that you can be doing. You can become part of a book club and pick up a new which forces you, by the way, to read a new book every month because you get together once a month. So that's a great idea. You can also go out and make it a point to have what go to have well, meet with an organization that does coffee every week or every 2 weeks. They get together for coffee and they discuss, all kinds of things of what's happening in their lives or nature or who's traveled or a movie. It's just so important for seniors to get out there and just be active. But since you travel to so many countries, tell me, which culture do you believe has the best approach to aging and staying active?
That's an interesting question, and I'm gonna answer it in a couple of ways. First of all, I really believe that right now, we here in the United States are among the most health aware in the world. Americans know that going to the gym, exercising, and eating well is good for us. We know that. We don't all practice it, but we are very health aware. But if you want to look at the countries that have the greatest longevity, well, then you're gonna have to look at Japan, Sardinia, South Korea. Uh, Many of the Asian countries will do well on that. Why? Because of their diet, very little red meat, lots of fish, lots of vegetables, and exercise. When we were in China, we would every day in every city, you would see elderly and young people out doing Tai Chi, working out in open air, exercising. They are aware and they do it. And the elderly are very good about it in China, Japan.
Now, you didn't mention Mediterranean diet, which is very popular and supposed to be one of the healthiest.
Yes,
So I really thought you were going to name one of the Mediterranean countries, and you did not.
I thought I did. I apologize. Sardinia is well
Oh, Sardinia. Okay.
Sardinia is known for longevity. They have a lot of centenarians, a lot. And once again, it's because of the diet.
Oh, they do?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think that is I'm not sure, but it's certainly one of the countries in the world that has the most people over 100 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
And that
Okay.
longevity mostly is because of diet. It really is because of diet. Now, I have family all over Italy. We went to Sicily a couple years ago, and I could see, first of all, the diet was fabulous, and then they walk, and they walk, and they walk all day long. It's a
Right.
healthy lifestyle. Also,
Right.
social interaction. Amazing, Trish.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
People reach out, they do things together, they enjoy being in the company of others, and I think we need more of that for our elderly people here.
You did mention that you feel that United States is the most aware of being healthy. I agree with that. Just because we aware doesn't mean we are the healthiest. As you know, United States is the biggest obesity country in the world. So I have to say that, yeah, we are aware of our lifestyle to keep us healthy and strong, but we're also the biggest obesity because we're also the laziest. Why we the laziest? Because everything is put in front of us. Everything is readily available to us. We don't have to try to do anything because it's put right in front of us. We don't even have to get up to turn the television anymore like we used to when we were little kids because it's right there.
That's right. That's right. You're right. We are living a very cushy lifestyle. Everyone goes everywhere in a car today. When I was a kid, back in the Neanderthal era. I got I got everywhere on a bike. I mean, my friends and I, all the way up until I maybe around 18 years old, it was bike everywhere. I don't see a lot of kids biking today.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
And I think that's because a lot of parents are afraid to allow their children to go out and be alone because they can get snatched up. I mean, we're hyper aware right now. Parenting's being hyper aware of where their children are, what they're doing, who they're associating with, who are they talking to on the phone, what they're doing every single second. It wasn't like that when I was growing up.
right.
I too had my own bike, and my parents never knew where I was. They never knew where I was. They didn't know where any of us were.
And they didn't
They just
worry.
told us, "You just better be home for dinner at 6
Yeah,
because, that's when we need you home."
yeah, no,
So, it's just a completely different lifestyle, different time, and, of course, nutrition is completely different now. I got into nutrition and was very aware of my body, when I was a teenager because my mother was obese after having 7 children, but back then, being a heavier person wasn't the same. It wasn't frowned on like it is now, but back then, people were having 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 kids.
yeah,
And the women were heavier because, they were keeping the weight from having the babies. And no one blinked an eye about that. As long as they were healthy, they didn't blink an eye.
exactly.
But it is very different nowadays raising children.
Well, there's a lot of factors that are going into this. I mean, we have a major problem in this country with obesity. Yes, we know that. But we have a major problem with childhood obesity. It's huge. It's would you believe 19.7% of the children in the United States between the ages of 2 and 19 are obese. Now that's scary as hell. It's scary as hell.
Very scary. Very scary.
Is that about that's 14.7 million kids that are overweight. What's it about? It's about they're not getting early formative nutrition education. It starts at home. If
It does.
cooking a healthy meal and dissing the ice cream and the snacks and the crap, the kids are going to go with that. It has to start at home. The kids are being bombarded on TV with ads for processed junk,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
doing it, and
Yep.
they're unfortunately, they're behind these all day long,
Right.
and they're not exercising.
Well, that's because the parents there's 2 parents working now, and then they have to rush home and try to make something to eat for dinner. So what do? They choose to process foods.
Yes.
They cook something up very quickly. They'll take out a hamburger helper or they'll take out something very quick to make, and neglect making the salad because that takes time to do. So it is very difficult for parents nowadays to raise healthy children. I do believe it starts in the home also, and in all factors. I believe that parents should plan their week. If you do work 5 days a week, the husband and the wife, I believe that the parents should plan on Sunday or Saturday, buying their groceries and plan what meals they can have that are healthy for during the week.
Oh, absolutely.
I know they can do that. They can plan that.
Yeah,
They can have their children not be in front of the television when they get home from school. I remember when I was being raised and I raised my children, no television till Friday night.
really.
When do you have time for television when they get home from school? When do you have time? They have to come home. They have to do their homework. They have to have dinner at 6, 6:30. They have to take a bath at 7, 7:30. Then they have to be in bed between 8 and 9. Oh, I forgot. Reading time, story time, reading time,
So
and then bed by 9 and 10. So where's their time for television? But parents are putting their children in front of the television while they're getting themselves situated, coming home from work, they're tired and trying to put something together, and then they have to sit and do homework with their children. Well, not everybody, but some do.
Yeah. No,
So it's just a very difficult thing to do, raising children healthy, but you can raise them healthy if you're a smart parent. I'm not saying parents are dumb out there. I'm just saying educate yourself, be a smart parent, skill yourself in being the best parent you can be, and raising healthy children
and be involved. You really have to be
and be
involved.
involved.
Yeah, I mean, getting the kids to exercise is important, and I think it's the parents' responsibility to make sure that they are involved in sports or something where they're moving, you know, get them.
And that's another thing I forgot to mention. If they have to take the child to soccer or lacrosse or ballet or swimming or, whatever sport, baseball, whatever sport the child's going to do,
Yeah.
that's another factor why then they pick up the children and they drive to McDonald's because you know, that's the dinner that they can give them.
Yeah, exactly, and you know what? We have to be fair, it's much harder for people who are a little bit lower on the socioeconomic scale because if your income is limited, first of all, your choices of healthy food are going to be limited because we all know what's going on in the supermarkets these days. Things are expensive, and what's not expensive is the junk. So that's
That's right.
one reason. And the other thing is not every parent can afford to have their kids doing ballet or doing, going into swimming lessons.
Soccer or lacrosse or
Exactly. And so, again, yeah, we're blessed here in Bergen County in New Jersey, which is a relatively wealthy area, and most people's kids are involved. But you get out where people don't have the money, it's hard for them, and you see a remarkable difference in obesity in children in those areas.
absolutely, absolutely. But I also feel that the government has a strong responsibility too to give healthy meals to the children in school, which they're not doing. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest complaint from parents is that the children are not getting a healthy meal as opposed to the children in Europe. I mean, I've seen some of the meals that the children are getting in their schools. And it's fascinating the way the children are taught not only about healthy choices when they're having their lunch, but they're taught manners. Be- are you aware of that with all your travels that you used to do? Did you ever come across that?
Well, I mean, it's a whole different scene in Europe, for example. In France, when the children go to school, when they sit down to lunch, they eat really healthy lunches.
Right.
Absolutely, it's very well balanced. There's no junk food. There's absolutely no junk food. And manners are taught at home, but they're reinforced at
Mm,
school. I mean, table manners are extremely important in Europe, and that's
yes.
falling off the table here. A lot of manners are falling off the table here. So, yeah, but, there are government programs, being fair, that subsidize, food initiatives in schools. Unfortunately now, or I should say, unfortunately, for a long time, they have been underfunded, and now it's getting even worse because these programs are being cut
Yes.
by you know who, and
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
great.
Department of Education was cut.
Exactly. The SNAP
I know.
program, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, is being sliced. I mean, what are we gonna expect? At least in Europe, okay, scream socialism, but socialism does provide for good nutrition and good
Yes.
education.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, nothing's wrong with socialism. That means that the government, the taxes that we are paying, the government is instituting all these social programs that are important for families to have.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, isn't that what our tax is paying for?
Now here,
For all the social programs? So that is part of socialism. So I don't understand where socialism came to be such a bad word because we have social programs.
we have Social Security. That's socialism. We have Medicare, that's social we have a lot of things, but the ones that we also really need are being swept aside, and that's really, really sad. It really is.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
people first of all, when people are struggling to pay for medication, and elderly people are foregoing medication because they need the money for food, this
Yeah.
is tragic, tragic.
Well, now that Medicaid's being cut, that's even worse. It's gonna be even worse for seniors, and, I do have a few seniors that are very, very, upset, and they're horrified
Sure,
of how are they going to, eat
sure.
because of Medicaid or see a doctor, because, Medicaid is being cut. And we are in a very bad situation when all these, social programs are trying to be cut. It's not a thing that, should be happening because that's what our taxes pay for.
Exactly, and the health and welfare of the citizens of this country is extremely important. If you have a sick population, it's gonna be far more expensive than giving them what they need to stay healthy.
Right, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now tell me, Roger, uh, do do you ever have to slow down to catch your breath when you're trying out a new exercise movement? Uh, I mean, I'm sure you can't do any more frog leaps, but, do you ever lose your breath
Well, yeah,
when you try something new?
I'm gonna tell you, everything is age related, and, as we get older, we lose the stamina. Sarcopenia sets in, so muscle mass diminishes. No matter how hard you try, it diminishes.
Yes.
And yeah, you lose strength, you lose stamina, and yes, some things are harder. We are out of breath sooner than we were before. The body is aging, changes are happening. That notwithstanding, I could still kick some serious butt in a spin class. And I'm proud
You
of
know,
that.
that's fantastic. I am not a spin person. I never was a spin person. I'm more a woman of the '80s, so I'm more of aerobics, step
Right.
class, you know yeah, I do strength training. One of the things that I do right now, and I do recommend, even if a senior wants to try it, I'm sure you've heard of it, Orange Theory is just phenomenal.
I have heard of it. We have
And
friends who are in it. I haven't tried that.
yeah, it's like a boot camp. And I do it once a week because as a personal trainer, I need my ass kicked too.
Yeah.
And that's one of the ways that I get to have my butt kicked, besides doing the gym on the other days. But everyone is at their own level. And I have recommended seniors to go in and try it, because nobody's looking at you. They're like, "Oh," you know how that people feel uncomfortable. I says, "You don't have to be uncomfortable. Everybody is uncomfortable. No one's looking at each other. Everyone is in their own little focus in their own little world of trying to work out. They're either doing a treadmill or they're doing the row or they're doing strength training on the floor, but everyone is on their own level.
Right.
No, there's no judgment. No one is looking at each other. And I'm certainly not looking at people. I'm too focused on kicking my own butt
Sure.
and getting my own getting my body moving.
Yeah.
But that's what I do once a week. And unless I know I need to get ready for something and I want to just maybe lose a few pounds here or there, then I will go maybe 2 or 3 times that week,
Mhm.
just to, get my metabolism going a little bit more.
It's really hard to incentivize older people in general, and that's what we're talking about here, to
Yes,
get
yeah,
into these types of programs. First of all, because they've never done them and they're unfamiliar with them, and then that's further complicated by, as you said, they're embarrassed. They think, "Oh, if I go in, I'm going to look terrible. Everyone's gonna point at me and laugh at me," and so on and so
yeah,
forth. And,
yeah,
I can't stress enough to these people that going to the gym is not a competition. You're not competing. You're doing the best that you can do. Nobody gives a damn what you're doing. They're too
right,
busy
right.
trying to go
And that's why the gym has machines.
exact
The machines are there for a reason.
exactly, exactly, and that's why it's important to get a good trainer, and it's also extremely important whenever possible for people who aren't familiar with going to gyms to get a partner, get a friend, and go together and
Yeah.
enjoy it together. Now it becomes a social activity. It really does.
Yeah, that's great advice, and when you can go with a friend or you can go with a neighbor or your husband or your wife. I know husband and wives who work out together, and I think that's
Oh,
fantastic,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
you know
I've been teaching now for over 25 years. I have countless friends that I have made in gyms. A lot of people don't realize that there's a social component going to the gym. I mean,
Mhm.
I got a bunch of guys, we jokingly call ourselves the old farts. We have so much fun. We tease the hell out of each other. We go out for lunch. We have a beer together every
Nice.
now and then. It's a social. Yeah, we go to the gym and we work out serious.
Yeah, going to the gym is a social activity. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Roger, it was so nice having you. I want to end with our last question. Tell me what three things that seniors should be doing right now? Right now.
Now that's a good one, and I'm gonna start off by saying the most important thing and that seniors need to keep in mind as they get older is that they need to work on maintaining their quality of life, and the only way to maintain their quality of life is to make sure that they continue to be functional, that their cognition is still good. If those 2 things are good, they will continue to be independent, and that's what it's about, and so, the challenges are hard. They have to keep moving, it's the most important thing. So, the number 1 in those 3 things is keep moving, and I don't care what you do or how you do it.
Be functional. Keep
Exactly.
moving,
Keep
walking,
moving.
walking.
Exactly, whatever it is, I don't care what it is, keep moving.
Right.
The second thing is maintain strength. I don't care if you do that with weights or whatever, you need some resistance training, and you've got to do that. That's number 2. And the 3rd
True.
and the most important, maybe that one should be right up at the top, is be health aware. Body is like a car. If you don't put the right fuel in it, it's gonna go to hell. If you don't maintain it, it's gonna go to hell. More people spend more time and energy and concentration in their cars than they're doing for their bodies, and I tell my elderly people, "Look, you know what? You get one body. That's what you get. No refunds, no exchanges. So you better maintain it better than your car, and you'll retain your your functionality, your cognition for as long as you can. One of the most important things in all of this too is when something's not right, see to it. For God's sake, schedule yearly exams, full physicals. If something's not right, go immediately, get a doctor's appointment, look into it. Don't keep saying it'll go away. Men are the worst about this. They're really bad. You've got to focus on it. As we age, things break down.
Right.
And when the car breaks down, you go to the mechanic. So go to the doctor for your
That's right.
body.
That's right.
So
Well, my father died when you mentioned that. My father passed away because, he got the flu,
oh my god.
and yeah, back then, we didn't have the flu shot.
Yeah,
He died, 1992, and, my sister gave me a call, and she said, "Oh, dad's not feeling well," and I said, "Have you taken him to the doctor?" No, he doesn't wanna go. I said, "Oh my god, get him in the car right now. Take him to the doctor."
yeah.
It was too late. He already was, so dehydrated
Oh,
and, weak that then he got a stroke from that, and one thing led to another, and then pneumonia, and it's just, it's a spiral thing,
yeah.
that happens when, seniors get the flu. Seniors, when you get the flu, it's very dangerous. This is why you should get your flu shot and take care of yourself if you do get the flu.
Well, absolutely. All the vaccines, the flu, the pneumonia, the COVID, pneumonia is terrifying in nursing homes. A lot of nursing homes refer to pneumonia as the angel of death because so many elderly people pass.
Once they get the pneumonia, then that's when they end up, passing away, unfortunately.
Get the pneumovax vaccine. Get your shingles vaccine.
Your shingles,
Get
yes.
flu. Get RSV. And
Yes.
don't listen to the idiot that's, now in charge.
That's not promoting the COVID shot, absolutely, I believe in that too. Get your booster shot,
Abs
get your flu shot, get your shingles shot,
every
get your now they now they have a pneumonia shot.
Oh, yeah, no, it's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
In fact, it's been through
yeah,
a couple of iterations. First, it was Pneumovax, no, just, I can't remember the names of them. There were 3 of them. Now the one that's out now is very good. You have to get a booster. You get 1 and a booster. It's very good. Anybody over 50 should have it.
that's right, that's right. Well, my 3 things that I recommend that seniors should be doing, Roger, is having a glass of wine every night. Number 1, having sexual intercourse with your wife or partner, or just being sexual with your partner. Doesn't have to be intercourse, just have some type of sexual connection with your partner. If you do not have a partner, pleasure yourself. It's important that we take care of our bodies, and that's one of the ways we take care of our bodies. The third one, be socially active.
Absolutely.
Go out on a date. Try to make it a regular thing. Go out for coffee. Just go out and socialize. The socialization is the most important thing I have read many, many times for the senior
Oh, yeah.
because it's very important. So those are my 3 recommendations for all seniors to be doing. Uh, that's what I recommend.
All good. All good. Absolutely. I like that.
I'm sure you like those too. But Roger, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure. I will link in the notes anything that you want to know about Roger, where he works, where he teaches actually his spinning classes. If you want to join him, it'll be linked in the notes.
Terrific. Thank you, Trish.
Absolutely, Roger. Thank you so much. And you stay healthy. And it was an honor to have you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you
Bye
for
bye.
having me. It was a real joy to talk to you. Thanks so much. Bye now.
Absolutely. Bye bye. Thank you.